Across a moor in Scotland, there once lived a lad who earned his living as a beekeeper. Sometimes the lad complimented his bees on as a specially large batch of honey, and they seemed to buzz about in pleasure and pride. Folks in town said the lad could talk to the bees. Of course that could not be true, but in a way he felt they understood each other very well. One evening, as the lad checking his beehives, two hounds suddenly appeared from across the moor, barking wildly and dashing directly toward him. The object their chase soon became apparent when a white hare leapt out of the heather into his arms. Quickly the lad tucked the terrified animal under his jacket. The two hounds circled his leg, barking angrily. He picked up a stick and swung it around. Eventually the dogs gave up and bounded away. When the dogs disappeared from view, the lad set the hare back on the ground and returned to work. But instead of hopping in through the thicket, the hare followed him, twitching its nose and eyeing him steadily. He went inside his cottage and the hare ambled in behind. "Well, you act like you want to be my pet," he said. "I supposed you would like a bit of dinner. I just might have a carrot for you." He let the hare nibble on a carrot while he scooped some stew into a bowl for his own dinner. When they had both finished, the hare jumped onto his lap and he stroked its head and ears. "Oh," he said with surprise, noticing its face, "I have seen black or pink eyes on a white hare, but how did you get those blue eyes?" The hare responded by stretching its back for more petting. The next morning the lad took the hare to the hives to introduce her to his bees. He knew that change in the environment can alarm bees, and he did not want the presence of the hare to unsettle them. So, he held out the hare for them to inspect, then set her down close to his feet. The bees dipped down and spun around her face, but she didn't seem to mind. After they satisfied their curiosity and returned to their hive, he took the hare to the next beehive for another round of introduction. One afternoon a few weeks later, as the lad was sitting trays of sugar water in the beehives, he noticed an old woman ambling along the track across the moor. Thinking he might sell her a fine comb of honey, he met her at the gate. However, before he could speak, she pointed to the hare, who was peering out from behind a heather shrub. "You don't see that every day," she said with a crooked smile. "A blue-eyed hare." "Aye, 'tis true," said the lad, turning to admire Pet. "What do you want for me?" said the old woman. "You mean to purchase? Och, the hare is not for sale. Everyone has a price, lad. Look, here at his bonny piece of gold. It's not every day you are offered a gold coin for a common hare, now is it?" "She's not common, and she's not for the sale," frowned the beekeeper. At once the old woman, whom the lad had thought much too old for such friskiness, sprung over to grab the hare. A bee hovering nearby gave a loud shrill, a sound that surprised the old woman, and apparently alerted the other bees. In moments a dark swarm had gathered and rushed to attack the old woman. "Eeks!" she cried, spinning around and running away.